Welcome everyone. Episode 1 of Rightfully Wrong with Eddie Ice, the hottest sports gambling podcast nobody has ever heard of. I am your co-host, Brian Hansen, Hani, Rye Guy, whatever you want to call it. And of course, the star of the show, Mr. Eddie Ice. Eddie, how are you doing this evening?
Hani, I'm doing great, man. I'm so glad we're finally doing this. We've been talking about this for at least a couple of years. So not only am I excited for this podcast, but hopefully we could start a business venture where we get into sandwiches next. But first, let's get into some picks. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Love it. Just a little background on Eddie the Iceman, Staten Island, 5 boroughs, Arizona Wildcats, Diablo Country Club's finest, blah, 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 blah. He's a true Italian American hero, but his favorite food is a sandwich, which is probably why you should never trust him or anything he says. So, with all the expert picks out there, why should you waste the next 10 minutes of your life that you'll never get back? Ed and I just believe that if you like to gamble and you like to win, this is the place for you. And if you have a gambling problem, welcome. Do not call that 1-800 number where you will be ashamed for your losses. Instead, let's refocus your efforts and start doubling down, as it's time to back up the Brinks truck for the next 16 weeks. Maybe in the playoffs, Ed, what do you think? Playoff picks this year?
Absolutely. Let's go all the way through the Super Bowl. But if somebody does have a problem, just comment in us. There's no reason to call anybody.
That's right.
We are not only a pick center, but we're also here to, just help with your emotions. So we do many things here on this podcast.
Perfect. And we're going to go over a series of games each week. Hopefully every Tuesday, get out those early picks. Each week, Mr. Ice will target his favorite picks. Some weeks it might be one game. Others it might be more. But we will be tracking his thoughts all year for your enjoyment. So get ready and buckle up. Before we get started, I almost failed to mention this podcast is unofficially sponsored by Coors Light. The mountains are always blue and the picks are usually wrong. So here we go. We've got 5 games to get through, starting with Buffalo at Miami. Miami giving 2. Thursday night game, and the Cheetah may only be stopped if he plays in cuffs. What do you see here, Ice?
Hani, I am so excited that we're starting with this game, not only because it's Thursday night, but I wasted at least 30 minutes of my life this morning as I'm drinking coffee, listening to Stephen A. Smith on First Take go on and on and on about were the cops right? Was Cheetah right? Was he wrong? Should I put down the window? Should I not? It's like, oh my God, guy, fucking move on to something I actually care about. But the reason why I say that is that I think that Miami is spending way too much time talking about something that, quite honestly, I feel like the Cheetah was a little bit of fault. I might be in the minority here. I mean, look, if I'm pulled over by a cop, I'm currently on the 680 sitting in traffic on my way home from Santa Clara. Shout out Customer Pure Storage. If a cop pulls me over and says, if a cop pulls me over and says, hey, put down your window, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm just going to put it down and go, sir, what can I do? How can I help you? I say all that to say there's way too much drama happening here. Last week, a lot of our buddies really loved Arizona upsetting Buffalo in Buffalo. I did not enjoy that pick.
You did not.
I loved Buffalo at home. And honestly, I love Buffalo on the road.
Oh, boy.
Here's a few reasons.
Taking the points.
In addition to what I just said, exactly. I like them at 2.5, which is what it currently is right now, Tuesday afternoon. So when I think of Buffalo, I think of grinders. I think of hard hit, great defensive lines, great offensive lines. Miami does not have that. Miami's trying to play like a soft, let's get 80-yard bombs. And almost everybody is going, who's Buffalo going to throw to? Last week, uh, Allen went to 9 different receivers. Cook, who's just been an average running back, went for 71 yards. I honestly think Buffalo wins outright, but I'm taking
Oh,
the points. So we won't go money. We won't go money line here. But when I look at even Buffalo, even though they barely got past Arizona, they held them to 270 yards. They had 350 something on offense. If I look at Miami, they only held Jacksonville to 267, so it seems pretty comparable at home, and they won by 3. I think Buffalo is a much better team than Jacksonville. Long story short, I'm going to take Buffalo on the points.
wow. Wow. There it is, folks. The first episode, first season, first ice pick of the day. Buffalo on the road. Grab the points, run to the bank. We're going to Sizzler. Here we go. Now I'm all fired up. Okay, we're going
We going
Chargers.
Sizzler.
We're going
Sorry.
Chargers at Panthers. Panthers 6.5 dogs at home. Old Jimmy Harbaugh has the boys buzzing again, but we all know those soft Southern California teams always struggle on the East Coast. Your thoughts?
Who's got it better than us?
Oh, nobody.
Nobody. You know which way I'm going on this. I mean, come on. Carolina look like fucking dog shit. And that's to say that pleasantly, the only team that looked worse than them this week was not the New York Giants, was the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm kidding. It was the Giants. But the Panthers look absolutely terrible. So, I always look at lines like this and I go, why in the world wouldn't Vegas have this at like 12 or 13 points? And I
Trap.
think you said it. I think it's because it's an East Coast game with a West Coast opponent, 10 a.m., whatever. But the strength of the Chargers, in my opinion, is that defensive line. Did you see how bad Bryce Young got battered around last week? He looked absolutely awful.
You know how I feel
So
about short quarterbacks.
I do know exactly how you feel about the midgies, and he's right there. I think that defensive line is going to absolutely kill them. And by the way,
Oh, prop bet. Side prop bet, bonus prop bet, over
let's
3.5 sacks.
It should be 6. I don't even know why it's 3.5.
Oh boy, you heard it
Oh
here,
my God.
folks.
Absolutely. So there was I've got a quick aside story here. So when I was living over by Mustang Field, shout out Danville, California, I used to go down to, for whatever reason, here and there, like when I would come home from BART, I would go to the Crow Canyon Safeway. And about 5 or 6 years ago, a very large defensive lineman who used to play for the Raiders would shop there. And I saw him once or twice. You know who I'm getting at. He was the size of the entire aisle. And not only was he huge, he was absolutely enormous. He's probably 3 Bryce Youngs. So there's no chance this guy is getting out of here with losing less than 6.5 points. It's just not going to happen.
Okay.
So,
any concerns about the East Coast travel time?
I just don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't.
Okay.
I think Harbaugh's probably got them right now on some sleep schedule like we had when our kids were little, just to get them used to going to Hawaii or something.
Never done that, but okay.
I think the revamped lines on both sides of the ball for the Chargers are just going to play bully ball with the Panthers.
Okay.
This to me is a stone cold lock. I can't believe this line isn't 9.5, 10 points.
Okay. Okay. Chargers coming in hot. Jimmy Harbaugh going to the East Coast. Thank you very much, Bryce Young. Go back to college. You're not wanted here. Next game.
By the way, who are they throwing to? Sorry, real quick. Who do the Panthers even have?
I couldn't name 2 people.
That's my point. The Chargers have a very similar thing, but last week, like, he just spread the ball around.
I know.
So that's what I'm not getting.
Anyway,
we can
Jimmy
move on
Harbaugh, he's got Herbert. He's He's got his offensive line. He's gonna make it happen. He's gonna pound the rock. He's gonna get
Yeah.
out of there with a win.
J.K. Dobbins, baby. Yeah,
Basically, what you're saying is
I don't know if he has an ACL.
buy this up to 20.5 points because it's gonna be a blowout.
And get 3-1 on your money. Absolutely.
Yes.
Just buy that thing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going to the bank. Sizzler. All right,
Sizzler.
Bucks at Lions. Lions given a tutty. Baker and Co. threw up 37 last week. The Lions took the Lambs into overtime. This total might hit 60. But who do you see coming out on the right side with this full touchdown at Allen State?
So this one is the one I spent the most time on. And
Oh,
sometimes
that's never good.
your boy Eddie Ice can get in his own head. But I really feel like I've come out with an outcome. So when you see lines like this, the Bucks that just won convincingly, I know they played the Commanders, Redskins, whatever. But how in the world are they getting 7 points when they're 1-0?
Mm.
I get it, it's on the road,
Mm.
but that never makes sense to me. And every single time you and I talk about this, we always go, if the line's too good to be true, you got to go the opposite way. And I just don't think that's the case. I think the first couple weeks, Vegas is trying to play like, where can we start to set the lines when we have two good teams going against each other? And I just do not see any way that a team that just beat the Rams by only 3 is going to beat a Bucks team by 6.5.
Are you
So
accusing Vegas of triple stamping a double stamp?
I am 100% accusing them of collusion, triple stamp. Yes.
Oh boy.
Triple stamp collusion is what we're going to call it.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well,
not that I know, because again, I'm not that smart or it's not that intricate of this analysis, but I don't know who Detroit's secondary is. I don't know who's got Pro Bowls or whatever, but I know what my eyes tell me. And I know that Detroit gave up a lot of yards and a lot of points to the Rams last week. They could not stop Cooper Kupp to save their life.
true.
And maybe that's why, yeah, maybe
And Puka's
whatever.
out.
But
And Puka's out. Maybe.
right. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, when I think of Baker Mayfield, Evans scored 2 touchdowns last week. Rashad White ran all over the place. I don't know that Detroit's going to be able to stop him.
He's
So
a gunslinger.
yeah.
He
So for
does.
me,
I think he does break 6 feet, so he does not qualify in
that
the
is true.
quarterback club. So we'll give him that.
Yeah, and he has a beard most times, so he's good in
And
my
he's a
book,
big
'cause
beard guy.
yeah. But like last week, Detroit, do you know how many yards they gave up? Just take a guess.
Couldn't
real
tell
quick.
you. Couldn't tell you.
387 yards.
Couldn't tell you.
I
I
think
was actually hiding under a pillow because I think I went 2 for 16 in the pick'em leagues, and I didn't want to show my face, so I didn't even watch
Yeah.
the game. I was crying.
There you go. Well, this should be picks with Hani instead of Eddie Ice then.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
honestly, man,
Well, let's recap there. You got Bucks on the road in the Lions' den. I don't even know if that's what they call it. Grabbing the touchdown. Get it now,
pretty sure
folks,
they do.
before you drop the hook. It's a 6.5 because big money's coming in on that one based on Mr. Ice's analysis. Okay. His next ice cold. This is his ice cold game of the week. Again, unofficially sponsored by Ice Cold Coors Light. Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals giving 1.5 in a battle of NFC West bottom dwellers and a game nobody outside Stafford's 17 kids are watching. Give us a winner, big guy.
So you're gonna notice a trend here. I'm gonna take the road team again.
Oh,
That takes four road picks.
4 roadies.
But honestly, if I'm drinking that delicious ice cold Coors Light and I have to just bash that against the table and go, which one am I taking this and stabbing somebody in the neck in? That's how much this ice cold pick is. This is the
Wow,
game.
boy.
I freaking hate the Cardinals. I hate the short quarterback. I think they are so overrated. They suck. They just happened to catch Buffalo 3 quarters, just thinking they were going to win. And it was kind of like that Northern Illinois Notre Dame game, but Buffalo was good enough to come back. I just do not like San Francisco whatsoever. So the Rams,
Well,
by the way,
San
should be
Francisco's
one
not
of
playing. So
no,
when
no,
you
no.
say
I'm
you don't
sorry.
like San Francisco, I'm gonna have you taken a breathalyzer before you got in your operating your vehicle.
I did. I had a couple beers at a happy hour, so I apologize.
Okay.
What I meant to say was I do not like Arizona, but I was getting to a San Francisco point, which is the Rams, who should be 1-0, have to
Mhm.
play San Francisco next week.
Ooh,
They're not going 0-2 to then go potentially
oh
0-3.
boy. Are
So
you
that's
worried about the
coming.
look ahead game?
I mean, am I worried about it? No, I think it's part of what I was just about to say too, is that I think the coaching, I think their head coach is fantastic, even though he's, what is he, 24 years old, is much better than a rookie head coach.
True.
And I think he's going to get them to actually play to say, we should be 1-0. We can't go 0-2. We've
Desperation.
got we've got another really good team on the horizon. We got to get shit done. And not only do I think they win, I'm sorry, they cover the 1.5. I think they win outright.
Money line bet.
This to
Okay.
me is a money line. I don't care if it's in
Ice
Arizona.
cold game of the week. Put it in the cooler. Put it in the
Yeah,
freezer. Get the bills on ice. Go to the
get
bank.
it on ice.
Get that cheddar. Here we go.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give you one last thing. Again, I don't know who's on defense and who's like all the ins and outs of everything, but I only know what I see. How good did they look when Puka Nakua went out and Stafford could only rely on Cooper Cup, his favorite target? They looked unstoppable.
Mm.
There were a few things that didn't go their way that they ended up losing the game. I love not seeing Nakua. I think Kyron Williams is going to have a huge day. I mean, the Bills basically, I would look at two things. I would look at them getting 1.5. That over under 48.5. Oh my God. You
No
want to tease that
defense.
down to 42.5? Yeah. I mean, come on. This is going to
Yes.
be a scoring paradise.
You're going surf and turf, taking the misses out, lobster for everyone. Ice cold game of the week. Rams,
Yes. This is the
grab the points.
ice cold Sizzler game of the week.
Easy money. Um, Ed, I know this wasn't one of your official picks, but all of our listeners out there want to know where you sit after what could have been the worst game ever for the G-men. Giants are getting 1.5 at Washington. Jaden looked pretty good in his first NFL start. Danny Dimes, he looked like he couldn't start for the SRVT Birds. Your thoughts to take us home on this one?
So I know there's a little bit of dead air. I'm trying to collect my emotions here because this is a very personal topic to me. And I'm trying not to go Stephen A. Smith and start yelling on this podcast because quite honestly, nobody wants to hear it. What I will say is that was a absolute fucking disgrace. And for all one listeners, subscribers that we have,
Just my
I
mom.
want to apologize. Just yeah, Maureen, I am sorry that you had to watch Sports Center to see that friggin' bullshit. Dable should be ashamed. Joe Shane, your trade scenarios with Dan Morgan and Carolina, yo, it ain't working, man. Absolutely awful. The fact that they came out this week and said we're not making a change at quarterback, what in God's name do you need to see to make a change? I don't care if Drew Lock can't even throw with his right hand. Put him in. If you don't like Drew Lock, put in Tommy Cutlets, which happened to be probably the greatest thing that happened in New York sports since Earl of Pearl Monroe came out in the friggin' 70s and won that championship for the Knicks. What are we doing? You have one job, assholes. It's to either be competitive or win. And if that's the case, just tell us we're going for the number one pick. And stop making me crazy. What the hell? Having said that, I'm going to come back. For whatever reason, even since I was a wee little boy, in Staten Island, the greatest of all the boroughs, the Giants always beat the Redskins. They're not the Commanders. I know I've said it 3 or 4 times. It's fucking ridiculous. The Giants will go into FedEx Field. They will win. They will go 1-1. And my year-long over 6.5 pick will still be intact.
Wow.
So here's something I am going to make a prediction though. I think at halftime they're going to make a change at quarterback because I think they're going to be down. I think they're going to be down 17-3.
Wow. Take
Daniel
that
J.
first half
Dimes.
points.
Daniel J. Dimes will have thrown 2 interceptions.
Oh boy.
They're going to make a change to Tommy Cutlets. Cutlets is going to come back. They win 24-17.
You're saying they're going to the third string quarterback to pull this out.
They're going right through Drew Lock, and they're going right to Tommy.
Okay.
And they win 24-17. I apologize for the cursing, Maureen. Talking about the Giants, it really, really makes me upset.
That was my
putting
fault.
me through this.
That was my fault.
Hey, I'm just glad we have a subscriber.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all of your picks for the week. Do a quick recap. We've got Buffalo on the road taking the points. Chargers on the road giving 6.5. Bucks on the road taking the tutty. Rams on the road taking 1.5. Giants on the road taking 1.5. I mean, if this doesn't scream money line parlay, I don't know what does. We're going to see what happens here, Ed. Very excited for week 1. Very excited to see how you do. Very excited for season 1, episode 1 of Rightfully Wrong with Eddie Ice. I think we'll close it out here. Thank you for listening. And until next week, don't be scared to go big. The juice only matters if you lose. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, Hani.